This week we are working on vowel teams, and the vowel teams that we are going to be working on are going to be spelled with an AU or an AW, and the sound is going to be ah. So go ahead and say ah. So it's not the short O like ah. My mouth isn't quite dropped as low, but it's a very similar sound, ah. Okay, so we're going to talk about when you would use the different spellings. Okay, AW would be used at the end of a word. So when you think about the tool that's a saw, it's SAW at the end of that word. You also would put AW at the end of a word like draw. Draw will be one of the words from your story. AW, I'm going to say here, will be at the end of a word, but also it could be in the middle of the word if the word ends with an L, an N, or a K. So I'm going to show you some words right now. Let me erase the AW or AU so we don't get confused. But these are the times when you would use the AW for your spelling. One we said is draw. Draw has AW at the end of the word. You might have the word straw. That also has AW at the end of that word. But let me show you these other examples. L, A, N. Now the N is the end of the word. Because I have the letter N right here, I'm going to use the AW spelling. Lawn is a word for grass at your house, your lawn. Okay. Then I might have a word like crawl. Again, the AW is not the end. This word's ending in an L. But according to my rule, if a word, the base word ends with an L, I'm going to use the AW spelling. And another word from your story is going to be the bird that's a hawk, or if it's plural, hawks. Now, remember we're talking about the end of our base word. So I'm not thinking about the plural S, but this ends with a K. So again, I'm going to spell this with the AW spelling. So after this lesson, we're going to do some tap it of the sounds, and then you're going to be writing out the spellings of the words. And so you need to think about it. If the word ends with an N, an L, or a K, the base word, you're going to spell that word with the AW. Then our other vowel team this week is our AU vowel team. So I want to remind you, AU is going to be used in the middle of a word. We're not going to have AU used at the end of a word. So some words from our story, we're going to have our characters. We're going to have a character named Saul. S-A-U. We're going to have a character named Paul. P-A-L. And we have this word that's a high frequency word. Taught. Now this vowel team is actually A-U-G-H. T-A. So this word is slightly different, but it has the same sound, but we're going to represent it. So I'm going to do this one with our tap it and then write it that you're going to be doing in the next example. So you're going to see boxes in your Nearpod lesson that have lines like that for each of the graphemes or the letters. So I'm going to say a word to you like taught, and we're going to tap the sound. So t. In the word taught, I hear three sounds, three phonemes. Now we're not going to do the dots this time. You could, if you want to, add your dots up here to remind you. T. But what you will do is you will spell, now in this word is that A-U-G-H and then T. So the word is spelled like this. Okay, so we're going to write the word out at the bottom. Now, the other words, when you do it, you won't have the A-U-G-H because your focus right now is on A-U and AW. So we did this one together because this one's a little bit trickier with the 4-letter vowel team. For your practice, you're going to listen to the word that I say and then tap the sounds and write out the spelling of the word so that you can practice whether you spell these words with an AU or an AW.